So this is my rant on why I think mental diagnosis is more a case of something that's in your head. Uh, take for example, I do think there's some medical conditions that's real, but there is something with society that kind of enforces you that with the whole uh what's the word again, patronizing people who to try to make themselves feel better. Let's say you have asthma. I mean, I'm not saying that it isn't real. Um, but there's also a way to cure it. Like sometimes you can actually just believe you have something that you don't have. For example, take for example this whole Asperger's or autism. I just think it's made up. I don't think it's real at all. I'm not saying like TV series are real, but like there was like this Cobra Kai TV series with a guy with massive asthma or something, and it just taught him karate, and he got cured overall of asthma. So but yeah, that's my point is stuff like autism or Asperger's or ADHD or something like that. That I think is pure bullshit. Like I think that's more pharma, more medical pharma that is sort of making this stuff up just to prey on weak people. And I can even prove it even more. Asperger's syndrome was made by a guy who collaborated with the Nazi regime of uh, Hans Asperger's was the name of the guy. I think that's why the name is Asperger's. So I just don't buy into this. There, I'm not like you know against doctors. I mean, if you like are actually sick, then you obviously need to go to a doctor. Or if there's a virus, then you need a vaccine. If there's something seriously ill with you, then you need to have an operation. Like plaster if your arm is broken from some dangerous thing. Like I'm not anti-medicine or conditions of that stuff, but in terms of medical diagnosis, I just think it's all bullshit. Like I mean, there's some cases where mentally people have issues with how to perform. I mean, in the past, we just people just call that retarded. Someone who can't intellectually go with others. Okay, that's in some cases that's a legit thing. Like I don't know, Down syndrome. I mean, I also do think it's patronizing to make TV series about that too. In my view, like it's sort of like making a TV series about fat people. It just supposed to make you feel better. It just feels a little bit exploitative, in my view, to do that. Like I think, for example, there was this old YouTube series called "Retarded Policeman." I think it's going to be a little bit hard to find now because YouTube policies and such probably censors this kind of stuff now, or at least it makes it hard to find. But I don't remember what channel made it, but it was kind of cool and funny. But um, and I think that I've just heard that the actor was in on it. But yeah, I just hate the whole patronizing stuff about people, especially when the diagnosis itself just seems like an excuse in lots of ways just to prey on weak people. Uh, but yeah, in terms of a real physical disabilities, like I get that, but when it's like sort of this micro diagnosis that you have to enforce, like for example, okay, there's some people who are really into this whole autism Asperger's thing that I've seen on the internet apparently. But yeah, I always hated this since childhood. Like, I mean, I've always been labeled that having Asperger's, and I don't believe that shit. Like, I think that if you believe it to be real, then it becomes real. Like it's sort of like believing that you're sick. Then you are sick because you believe it. Some part is actually real in terms of physical abilities, and some part is just bullshit. Like in terms of what people want you to believe, and I just say it's bullshit. Like you don't have to be have this label or generalization addict to your life. And I'm not like Kanye West or anything, like because I can sort of mention a little bit here, but uh, the, there was something about problem with the doctor, and I don't know there was something bipolarism. I have no idea what that is. But basically, I mean, his problem is more that that is sort of generalizing Jews as bad people. Uh, I think his problem is like I kind of compare Judaism with Mormonism in that it has some sketchy things inside their holy books. Like for example, if you look at like Old Testament of the Bible, like chosen people and destruction of other nations who are not Jewish, like or in Mormonism you have like stuff like in their text, like for example, the black people are cursed, and I know there's something about the Israelites coming from Jerusalem to America or something like that, religious stuff like that, and people who are cursed turn black skin, and people who are blessed are white skin. Like so there's like stuff like that. That's okay. Sounds very sketchy, but I think here's the thing though: Jews and Mormons don't organize hate groups. In comparison to neo Nazis or Black Hebrew Israelites who are actual hate groups, that's the difference there. Sketchy stuff versus actual physical damage. In terms of hate groups and such. So yeah, I just think Kanye West is more misinformed than anything. But I have no clue on this whole doctor bipolarism thing. I just think, in terms of his personal opinion, just think is more misinformed than anything. But yeah, that's just why I think uh, a diagnosis as such can be just a load of bollocks, basically. So yeah, that's my video on it. Feel free to agree or disagree. If you don't agree with this, then I'm totally okay with that. Feel free to complain if you feel maybe you don't agree or something. Yeah, thank you for listening and bye.